Ah, hello guys. Welcome to Michaela Bell's channel. That's our dog Bert. Hey Bert. Happy Valentine's Day, buddy. Here we are. Welcome. Hey, look at the camera. I need to learn this. This is new to me. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just here filling in for Michaela Bell. Nothing. Nothing. Gotta go, guys. Gotta go. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Hello, my friends. My name is Michaela Bell. Welcome to my YouTube channel and happy Valentine's Day. At least that's the day that this video is debuting. But if not, happy Love Day anyways. And I'm also wearing my Eagles shirt today. We lost the Super Bowl last night. But as a true fan, you show up whether they win or lose, right? You support, your love continues, whether there's a win or a loss. But go Eagles, proud of you. You had an incredible season. Today we're going to talk about two concepts that I think are wildly misunderstood. And whenever you misunderstand something, you tend to misuse it. And I believe that if you can use these two concepts well, it will positively impact every external relationship that you have. So if you want to improve your friendships, if you want to get better at your romantic relationships, if you want to be a better student, if you want to show up to work more effectively, if you want to be a better parent, this is going to be a very impactful episode for you. Two things that people wildly misunderstand are what self-care is and what self-love actually is, and how you can put these into practice so that they will help improve every relationship that you have externally. The reason why I think that they're so misunderstood is because I constantly get questions in the DMs or comments in the DMs whenever I do self-love workshops or master classes or mini courses. The questions I get about it, or even things like people have said to me, it's a shame that you're teaching self-love. That's not biblical. That's not Christian. I mean, I think that that's obvious that it's a misunderstood concept. So we're going to talk about what they actually are and how to put them into practice. Self-care, this is where we're going to start. Self-care encompasses all of the ways that you care for yourself spiritually, physically, emotionally, and mentally. It can range from brushing your teeth twice a day to drinking enough water to moving your body, all the way to some of the other things that people typically label as self-care, which is maybe buying yourself flowers or taking a bubble bath or having a luxurious spa day. Those things are ways to practice self-care, but they're not in and of themselves self-care. There may be an aspect of it or a way that somebody expresses it, but not it as a whole. Sometimes I hear that self-care is selfish, that it is indulgent, that it is self-obsessed, or like those DMs that I've gotten. It is not any of those things. It is really quite the opposite. Self-care physically, those practices can look like moving your body every single day. It can look like drinking enough water. It can look like investing in a diet or a food regimen that supports your hormones. It can look like going to the gym 4 to 5 times a week. It can look like hiring a trainer. Those are different ways that you can practice self-care physically. If you don't practice self-care in the physical part of your life, what's going to happen? If you don't take care of your body, what's going to happen? Illnesses, disease, pain, things that were designed to work well can't work well if they're not used well. Your emotions, some different ways that you can practice self-care when it comes to your emotions are feeling your emotions. You know that saying, in order to heal it, you have to feel it? There's a part of that is totally true, yes, but I also think it's a little bit incomplete. One of the things that's important when it comes to feeling it is, do you feel safe to feel it? A lot of us have this narrative that certain emotions are bad emotions. And so when they come up or when we feel them, we feel like that they're not safe to feel them. Part of your self-care could potentially be having someone else help you process through those things, or learning and investing in ways to learn how to regulate your emotions. For me, some of the best things that I do is, number one, allowing myself to feel it. My coaching clients know this, but I have an angry park. And whenever something is going on in my life, typically an issue with my ex-husband, I go to my angry park and I either yell it out or like stomp on my steering wheel for a little bit. And I just allow myself to be angry for a moment. And then I journal through exactly what's coming up. And I look at, are some of these things true? Are they anything that I can control? If I can't, how can I move through this well? For me, I never felt safe feeling those emotions. I always just kind of suppressed them because I thought I'm just supposed to stay positive. I'm just supposed to be grateful. I'm just supposed to be this, and I should do this, and I should do that, and I should feel this. Should is the language of depression because it puts you in the mindset of lack. So anyways, emotions, feel it, yes, but also the question is, do you feel safe feeling it? Your mental health, some of the things that I've done for my mental health are learning breath work, meditation. I have a therapist, a trauma-informed life coach. I have fully invested into the mental health arena, and it is normal. We all experience a lot of things emotionally and mentally, and that part of your health is sometimes overlooked, but incredibly important to you. So invest in that area of your life for sure. Take care of yourself there. And then the spiritual side, for me, some of the ways that I practice self-care spiritually are reading the Bible daily, journaling. I like to write out my prayers because I feel like I just will look back and see God answer prayers that I forgot about. And so that's why for me, writing out my prayers has been so valuable for me. I can like see the Spirit of God moving in my life. So that for me is helpful. If you believe different things, those might be different practices for you, and I respect that. But those are some of the different ways that I practice self-care on all 4 of those areas of my life. If you guys have other ideas that you feel like are in line with the values of this channel, feel free to drop them below. And then self-love is the overarching kind of umbrella of self-care. I think that self-care is a practice of self-love. True self-love is seeing yourself through the lens of how God sees you, how the Creator sees you. It's healthy self-talk. It's caring for yourself physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. It is renewing your mind. It's speaking kindly to yourself. It is knowing that you're worthy. What self-love is not, it's not this inflated view of yourself. It's not an unreasonably high sense of self-importance. It's not seeing other people's feelings and not caring for other people. That's narcissism. Self-love is about learning how to unconditionally love yourself. Essentially, self-love is this internal environment that allows you to grow. It allows you to stand firmly in who you've been created to be so that you can walk into a room and see other people as well. You can walk into that room in being authentically who you really are, as opposed to wearing armor that we think sometimes protects ourselves, but doesn't. Self-love creates an environment for growth. If I took an acorn and I threw it into a desert, would that acorn ever become an oak tree? That acorn was designed to become an oak tree, but would it become an oak tree in an environment of a desert? It would not, because that environment for it is not conducive for its growth. Self-love allows you to have an internal environment for growth and safely becoming and stepping into who you've been designed and destined to become. So that concept, I think I just see so misunderstood in our culture. It's not about overly indulging in ourselves. It's not about putting ourselves on the top of the list and never considering other people. It's not that at all. It is the complete opposite of that. The more that I have fallen in love with who God has created me to be, the more that I've been able to show up in this world as me and therefore walk in my purpose. I read a book years ago called The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. It's also in the episode notes. And I believe that there's a 6th one, or at least I've recently heard that there's a 6th one. If you know it, pop it in the comments. Because I'm not not familiar with it. But the 5 love languages are the way that we receive love. So there are words of affirmation, physical touch, acts of service, quality time, and gifts. And so we all have a primary one, or like a number one and a number two, that are when we're loved in those ways, that's when we really feel loved. For example, like my last one is words of affirmation. My top one is physical touch and acts of service are like tied. So when Ryan does things for me that either take something off of my plate, or the other day he like filled my car up with gas, I felt so loved in that moment, like so taken care of. Or when he, touches my back or just cares for me in that way, I feel really loved. Not that I don't feel loved when he gives me words of affirmation, but it's not on my top. If somebody were to only give me words of affirmation but not do any of my other ones, like my other top ones, I wouldn't feel loved. So when it comes to self-love, and I say all of this to say that when you get to know your own love languages, you can love yourself in those ways. The worksheet on the Backstage Pass goes into significantly more depth into this. But for example, let's say your number one is physical touch. One of the ways you can practice self-love is weekly baths. And I've seen some really cool like accessories for your bathtub. Those like really cool wooden shelves that have like the book holder and an area for like your wine glass. So cute. That could be a great way for a self-love practice of taking a bath and buying a new body wash for you. That could be a self-love practice for you if that's your first or second way of receiving love. Maybe for you, it is words of affirmation. Something super important for you are going to be your affirmations or the words that you say to yourself. So practicing those things are ways that you can love yourself in your own love language. If quality time is one of the top ones for you, carving out time in your week every single week, like letting that be one of the first things you schedule is what is my quality time with myself going to look like? And not grocery shopping, not doing things that you have to do. Hey, maybe you love grocery shopping. It's not me. So if that's your thing, do that. In this worksheet that I have, I think it's going to give you a lot of great ideas for how to practice self-love in maybe new ways that you've never experienced before. And definitely read that book. The more that you know then how you want to and how you receive love, the more you're able to communicate it to the people that you want to receive love from. For example, your husband or your partner. And then also you can ask them their love language and then be able to show up for other people. The more that you show up for yourself in these ways, the more that you're able to and are educated in ways that you can show up for others and love others. So the way that you care for yourself, the way that you love yourself is often a direct reflection in your relationships externally. So if you ever want to improve those, one of the first things you can think of is, hey, what am I not giving myself that I could give myself? How can I fill my cup so that I'm pouring from a well that is overflowing as opposed to a well that is dry? This week, as we experience and have Valentine's Day, if you are single, a quick message for you. Allow yourself to feel the hard emotions too, and the good ones. Embrace the duality of the emotions that we feel as human beings. You can be sad and frustrated with the season of life or heartbroken maybe. You can have that, but you can also then infuse some joy and do things that you love into your day. Don't be afraid to experience both of those emotions, even if they feel counter to one another. You can feel them at the same time. You are worthy of love and belonging, and that does begin with yourself. I hope today gave you some great ideas that maybe were a little bit out of the box of what you used to think self-care was and what you used to think self-love was. And now you can use those because now you have a better understanding of those two concepts. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And if you feel like you would love to share this, definitely share this episode with someone today. Like, subscribe, do all of those things. It helps tremendously to push this message forward. If we don't get likes, if we don't get subscribers, the algorithm and YouTube says, oh, this must not be a very good episode. This must not be a good channel. We're not going to push it out to the world. And I would love for more people to embrace these two concepts. So thanks for being with me in this mission. I hope that you had an incredible time watching this episode. I'm grateful for you. We'll see you next time.